I'm Robert Therrell.
And I'm Chase Bridges.
We're both screenwriters.
Listen along each week as we
either work together to write a new short film
or go head to head with competing movie pitches.
This is
Written By. Welcome to the Written By podcast, the number one podcast in the world.
Woo! Right behind all the other ones.
Written By podcast. I don't know how to play the guitar.
I was going to say, I didn't think you knew how to.
But how wild would it have been if I just was like...
Well, you like tuned it, you put it down, you picked it up, like you've
He's
done
an actor.
Yeah, you've done every
I'm
guitar-y
really good at
thing.
pretending to be good at things.
Yeah.
How do you think I got here? Shama was like, "Hey, can you do you do production stuff?" I was like, "Yeah, I do production stuff." He's like, "Hey, you write?" "Yeah, I write."
Dude, that's my favorite. Agree and then figure it out. I've agreed to so many things.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember I picked up this commercial production thing, like producing and directing and editing. No idea, dude. But I remember just being in my office sweating, and I figured it out.
Hey, and that's how legends are made.
hey, I mean, I'm just 31, so I don't know if I'm worthy of the L word. But
Loser.
Other L word.
We have Shama Mrema in the studio with us.
Yeah.
We've introduced him twice before. If you don't know who
He's been
he
on
is,
3
you aren't a
times.
fan.
Ooh.
Oh, that's right.
Shama's been a guest
before.
by himself twice, and then we did one with the Church Stories cast.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we did the pitchathon.
Oh,
What was it called?
and he was the guest host on the Rival Pitches.
Yeah, Rival Pitches.
Y'all know who he
y'all
is.
know what's up. Y'all, all of our listeners came from Shama's
Y'all
Instagram.
No. Rocking the Diet Coke shirt. I married into a Pepsi family, so this is me
Really?
rebelling.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of anyone that prefers
Wait.
Pepsi.
That's
Hold
my
on.
wife's family.
So you're telling me when Grace is at a restaurant and she goes, Pepsi, and they go, is Coke okay?
She shoots the waiter. That's what happens every time.
Is Coke okay?
Yeah, no, they're a diehard Pepsi family. So,
Wow.
If
I
I
found the shirt.
if I was a waiter and someone's like Pepsi, I'd be like, no, it's okay. We have Coke here. You don't have to.
No, just calm down,
It's okay. We have
sir.
Coke.
Sir.
That's really funny.
Yeah. How have y'all been?
No
You
one
know,
ever
we're-
asks us that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting between you guys. I'm
This
like,
is an
oh,
awkward
no.
setup. We usually for a guest we would have 2 cam setups.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
we thought we could get away with just one. I brought another camera.
Yeah.
But that
Is
would
it-
require
Work?
more work. And we've been slaving away in a kitchen.
Yeah, this is a late night written by. It's
Yeah.
it's 11:45 right now.
We just
we've
shot-
been shooting.
A sketch in a kitchen, which tricked us again because we had to set up a kitchen. We wrote the sketch to be like, oh, we'll tell jokes. We're like, no, we actually have to have food and stuff.
That was what I ran
definitely.
into with Trouble Date because we do that. It's like, oh, we need to make a restaurant, and now I have 30 wine glasses in my apartment.
and forks.
It turns, and then we did a thing a while back, like 4 or 5 years ago, called Church Aerobics. That we wrote, and then I remember being in it and being like, "Oh, I'm actually working out.
Gotta do aerobics
Oh,
now.
I'm doing aerobics. I'm running in jeans in place right now."
Yeah, so that was always the thing that attracted me to acting. It was like you hear these actors be like, "Yeah, for the Lone Ranger, I learned to ride a horse," and it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, cool, you get to learn all these skills." But then when you're actually in the heat of it, you're like, "I have to ride a horse?
What are you talking
I
about,
don't got time to learn that."
dude? So apparently, I've seen casting posts where they're like, "Must know how to ride a horse." Must have recently rid a horse because apparently there's like, dude, the last time I rode a horse was like, I don't know, I was probably like 12. But if somebody was like, "Can you ride a horse?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I can ride a horse."
Never touched a horse.
12-year-old me rode a horse.
I've never touched a horse.
Do you have one of those? I mean, maybe headshots are outdated, but whatever the modern equivalent when you run Actors Access or anything, did you have any special skills?
That's not outdated. They
Liz?
still have that.
Okay.
I mean, I just put bilingual because I speak
yeah.
Swahili, and then
Was that even one of the options?
yeah, you speak another language. I also put I could ride a bike. It's lame. Apparently, they're like, no, list all that stuff because like you
Really?
never know.
Okay.
I could swim. I'm really breaking boundaries. That's what my whole special skills list. Yeah, that's it. What do you have on
Imagine
yours?
the casting directors be like, whoa, hold on, guys. This guy can ride a bike.
Hold on. This guy, he can ride a bike and he could swim.
They're holding up your headshot and a 5-year-old girl, and they're like, they've got the same skills, but he can speak Swahili.
Yeah, they're like, that's what we need. We need a biking, swimming, Swahili-speaking black man.
Yeah.
What are your special skills?
My special skills:
wrestling.
It's wrestling. A licensed driver.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah, licensed
You
driver.
own a passport? That's another one.
Yeah. I went very easy with it because I was like, I don't need to show off and say I know how to ride a bike.
I'm gonna wait to show off on set when you cast.
Improv.
Okay.
Yeah. I got some special skills, but not many.
Yeah. Throw horseback riding on there.
Dude,
for
so
kicks and
when I shot that movie in February, the producers were like, "Yeah, our next movie. I can say this. Our next movie is blah 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 blah." And they're like, "We would love to have. Can you ride a horse?" I've never touched a horse. I've never seen a horse. I said, "Yeah, I can ride a horse."
Yeah.
How hard could it be?
Up.
I said, "Yeah, I can ride a
I
horse."
wonder if like real people who are familiar with horses can pick up non-horse riding people.
Oh, I
from
know.
the way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Can you ride a horse?
Can I?
Yeah, they're like, never. We're not casting that guy. That's funny.
What is the
man.
most extreme thing you would learn for a role?
That I would?
Yeah, like you hear like Ryan Gosling didn't know how to play piano before La La Land. Like,
That's
would you
cool.
do that level?
I mean,
Oh man.
I don't think there's much that I wouldn't do,
Yeah.
especially if it was like a really big deal like that.
Well, also if like somebody else is footing the bill on it.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I mean.
Oh, that's right. If it's like a studio movie, they pay for you.
Oh
to,
yeah. Like I'd get like Kumail Nanjiani jacked.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
If they hooked me up with a trainer and like a dietitian and covered my meals and stuff. Oh yeah, dude. Gave me some steroids. Man, yeah.
Also, if you're just getting paid that much money, it's like, what are you gonna do all day
Right.
until you go start
Right.
shooting? It's like you got 6 months before you start shooting.
It is like, I guess, what is the alternative? Like getting paid to deliver packages for Jeff Bezos?
That's
You know what I
true.
mean? It's
Yeah.
like, hey, I want you to
Yeah.
learn guitar, and you have 4 months. You'd be like, yeah.
Written by podcast.
Yeah, I guess I'd, would
Yeah.
you?
I mean, the writer-director equivalent is kind of whatever you choose to write about is like the thing you have to become an expert on for the next. Like, dude that wrote Chernobyl, he's talked about how he essentially has a thesis paper's worth of research about Chernobyl.
That's
It's like you can't write something like that if you aren't going to become a historian.
The
about Chernobyl.
HBO series?
Yeah,
Man, that must be crazy.
yeah.
So I wonder if, as a writer-director, if you would feel, I would feel gutted if you do all this research, you spend like a decade,
Yeah.
and then you deliver the show, and they're like, trim 15 minutes. You know what I mean? On an episode, you're like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
I've actually,
Or even worse, you do all that research for something on spec, and then somebody else does it before you.
Yeah,
Or a bigger
yeah.
name. Like, forever, my dream project was adapting that Beanie Babies book, and then
Yeah.
someone else did it this summer. Like, imagine if I had done more research on that.
Did you like that movie?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
I
Is it
will
out?
see it, but
Yeah, it is
Have you
out.
seen it?
Yeah, I watched it. It's
Was it
on.
good?
It's on Apple TV. Yeah.
Oh, I don't have Apple TV.
What are you talking? I can give it. I think you can just buy it. Right? You can buy the whole Apple TV, $2.2 trillion, dude. You're good for it. Yeah, but it's a good movie. It's a good
Okay.
movie. I do remember you mentioning that. Like,
yeah.
long time ago.
there's like a cool idea. I had an idea that I watched a TikTok of. I had an idea like 2 years ago, and just like 2 or 3 hours ago, I watched a TikTok with the same idea. There was going to be a photographer taking diversity pictures of like a group of people,
Yeah.
and it was just going to be like the short sketch. And I watched a TikTok, and I'm like, oh wow, oh look at that,
Yeah.
it's my idea.
Yeah.
It wasn't as funny, I'll tell you that, but it was, it was cool to be like, okay, I was on the right page. I
Sure.
guess.
Yeah. I used to do this bit all the time where I would sing "It Wasn't Me" by Shaggy, but I would do it in an impression of Shaggy and Scooby, and I would do it for my friends, and I would laugh, and I never did it for the internet. And then like 2 weeks ago, I was scrolling through TikTok, 5 million views. Some dude doing the exact same thing.
Whoa.
And I was just like, ah, man. His Shaggy wasn't even that good.
What was it? You give us a taste of it.
So the whole joke is you do the whole chorus with Shaggy.
Okay.
Like she caught me red-handed, and then you cut it wasn't me. And then when you get to the part where he raps and no one understands what it is he's saying, you just run like
Man, that is a 5 million view idea.
And then some white dude got it.
Oh man. But it's cool though. I mean, you were
I was on the right track.
You were on that track, dude.
Well, like, I had a stand-up joke I was working on, and then Neil Brennan did it in his new special. And it's like, well, I was cooking.
Right. I mean, we were both cooking.
I had the same ingredients.
He just got to the table first.
I feel the same way about my SpongeBob song that came out recently.
Yeah.
Because that was something that I've been sitting on my hard drive for 2 or 3 years. Like in 2020, rapping from the perspective of SpongeBob, but making it like sound kind of hard was novel. But like I just happened to get around to finally doing the video at the time where all the AI SpongeBob rappers were a thing.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like I missed the boat on it. And all this stuff is better because they're using the tech to have the actual voice.
so good
dude,
too.
man,
I'm
it
a
is.
hash slinging slasher. That song goes hard.
So there's like this. I mean, we probably talked about this on this podcast. Ongoing conversation about like, is it better to develop, or is it better to like develop slowly and surely, or develop surely and quickly and then release?
Efficiently.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's almost like projects are more valuable out than they are like in the tube of.
It's like it's a juggle between efficiency and perfection.
Yeah. What is the solution?
Yeah, I
If
don't
we
know.
knew, we wouldn't.
In
be
like
here.
the content, okay. Obviously, there's like the feature film bucket,
Yeah.
right? Like a book, a TV show.
Yeah.
Then there's like, I mean, we're like in the short film sketch
Yeah.
space, like
Yeah.
bucket. All right, if you're depositing content into that bucket, like
Yeah.
you spend a year, because that's a mistake that we made. We're like, we
Yeah.
spent years
Yeah.
on stuff, and we're like,
I mean, this is kind of why we have the podcast, because like we want to develop the stuff that takes time,
Yeah.
the high budget shorts, write features, and this weekly podcast is our way of feeding the content machine
Right,
and hoping
right.
like getting the attention that
Yeah.
posting content helps,
Which-
without it having to be our main thing.
Yeah, which you've been kind of doing that lately, because we have sketches like what we shot today, where it's a lot of equipment. We're setting up a kitchen. We're shooting this whole thing, and then also you have some stuff where you just shooting it by yourself with a phone.
yeah.
and it does just as well.
That's been really cool of just kind of going like, okay, what is the? I mean, I've been thinking about it like a meme. Okay, it's a moving meme. It's a meme video. If I can, I know camera placement and some decent composition. What does that look like? All right, send the camera up. Record it. Play. Stop it. Bring it back down. Watch it. Try something else. It's couple minutes and then I'm done. So I don't know. I've been trying. Like I do enjoy. It is cool seeing the numbers run up on a sketch that didn't take quite as much work. It's almost like I'm pulling the slot machine lever more times, I guess. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very interesting. So if you haven't noticed, we're not doing a traditional bowl episode today.
Because
Hey.
we're
They didn't need to know all that.
we're on location and we forgot the bowl. We won't say who forgot the bowl, but we forgot the bowl.
we.
But we did have the idea. We got Shama with
Yeah.
all of his sketches.
Yeah.
Let's just write a sketch
Human bowl.
about whatever we want.
That's the second time me and Robert have done that bit this week. Earlier in the week, we were hanging out with Gutter, and Robert goes, "Oh yeah, Chase had this really funny joke that no one laughed at," and I was like, "Why did you include that part?"
Dude, yesterday we were at dinner at our neighbor's house, who they have their youngest son is my son's age, and so they have two older boys, and so we get along. Ultimately, we get along, and we were over there, and so I'm sitting next to Ezra, my son, 4, and Grady, their son, who's like 4, and I yawn really big, like one of those yawns that you can't And we had just sat down at the table. We haven't even eaten yet. Sit down, I yawn, and Grady looks at me, and goes, "Shama tired," and I remember being like, "I'm not," He's like, "No, Shama tired." And I remember being like, I mean, he's right, but also like, don't call me out like that.
That's really funny.
But it was, and then I thought it was like, oh, okay, everybody forgot. And then yesterday, my son, when we got home, my son Ezra was like, "Remember when Grady said that Dad tired? That was so funny." And I remember being like, it wasn't like that. He was like, that was the funniest part of. And I was like, it wasn't the funniest. It was the funniest, like getting called out like that. But I didn't think Ezra picked up on that. But he
that's
did.
really funny.
Your kids are so funny. Like,
Dude,
they have the timing.
Yeah. I didn't expect it. I'm
Have
like,
you told the I Spy joke publicly about
Which
Ezra?
one?
But Ezra was playing I Spy.
Ezra was saying Grace taught Ezra how to play I Spy, and so they were playing outside, and I went outside for a little bit, and Ezra just goes, "I spy something brack." Dada.
Oh,
Which is
man.
the use of the word something is really what he knows. I'm someone. That's really he understands the joke math.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kid gets it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The thing about Shama, because you did a podcast for a really long time, when there's an awkward silence
We
here.
did,
Yeah, we
yeah.
did. Yeah. When there's an awkward silence here, I can tell you feel the responsibility of leading us to the next part. And I wanted
You
to kind of
still
wait and
got it
see
in
how
it.
long it would take before you were like, "Hey, this isn't my show. Y'all need to start doing some of the work."
Yeah.
Oh no, it is yeah. Do y'all want me to?
Because on Written By is different from like Church Stories, for example. And I said this a while ago, where it's like Church Stories, I would show up and it's just having fun with my friends and joking around, trying to make each other laugh. And then Written By, it's like, oh, we're here to work.
Yeah.
And so there's like a lot of silences sometimes in this show because we're
'Cause
just
y'all are
like
working.
thinking.
Yeah.
And I think we finally got like a fun in between. I don't know if
Because y'all edit too.
Yeah,
Kind of like
yeah,
make
yeah.
it.
yeah, Robert does.
Make a show flow. Yeah.
I almost wonder if I took 2 different Written By episodes, one edited by Robert and one edited by me, if people could find which one was edited by who.
That would be interesting. We should do that.
But my feelings would get hurt because I think people would they'd be like, well, this one was better, so it must be Robert.
Yeah.
There is. I just heard. That's a good. I just heard. I was at dinner with some friends and we were talking about friends. I had just met them a couple hours beforehand. I don't know why I said friends. I was at a church up in Pennsylvania, and there's an event, and then we went to Applebee's afterwards, as you do after a church event. Yeah. We were talking about AI, and this one guy who was a heavy metal producer / in a band and like engineer. He was talking about how there's AI. There's like a YouTube channel that is producing heavy metal 24 hours, like live streaming.
Oh yeah.
And it's just instrumentals.
Oh wow.
No voices. And he was like, it's really incredible. And so I'm like, well, so what is the difference? Like, what is stopping robots from like taking over? And he said, he used the term, you could tell that it doesn't have like a human fingerprint on it, which is, I thought, okay. So you can, even the editing of the show is, has a specific like unique fingerprint that you can't. I can't just pick up and go like, you know.
I mean, I've really been noticing that. I've been editing like a reality travel show-ish thing that we've all worked on.
Yeah.
And like as an editor, you can like interject your own personality a little.
Yeah.
And it's funny how you could do that.
Right. And that's something that like if you told me, if you tried to explain to somebody else to do, I'd be like, I don't know what that means. You know, but yeah, it is cool. It's cool that that's why I'm not concerned about AI as much, just because I'm like, the human element is still kind of vital to the.
You can't make heavy metal music without childhood trauma.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I used to have a bit. It probably doesn't work because there's a lot of black metal heads. But I'd be like, black people don't listen to heavy metal because we got screamed at enough growing up.
I had a joke and it didn't work, but it was like screamo is just opera for poor people.
That's so good.
Yeah. It never worked. It never landed.
Oh, that's really good.
But
Where did that not work at?
Twitter.
Oh,
Nothing works for me on Twitter or X. Yeah. Whatever you.
you got a check on Twitter?
No, I don't.
We need to get that. That's what I
Is
heard
that what we
is
need to
missing.
do?
Yeah,
I know who you heard that
you're
from, and I don't respect his opinion.
I heard the engagement skyrockets once you
I guess
once
I
you
should
start
do
that.
paying
Do you have a Twitter
Papa
check?
Elon. I don't know.
Okay.
No.
I have a question because you're verified on Instagram,
Yeah.
and I'm verified on Instagram. You were verified before you had to pay to be verified.
Yeah.
Do you have to pay now to keep it?
No.
Okay, I have to pay. Well, I mean, to be fair, I didn't earn it. I felt like I
don't
earned it.
understand, but the new one, like the paid one, is like just securing your account and being like, I'm a real person.
It's the same thing.
Okay.
You can't be verified without paying now.
Oh, now?
Yeah, now.
Huh. Interesting.
So it's like you were probably one of the last people to be verified by Instagram.
That was like probably like a few months before. Yeah.
But I felt like I earned it. I had a great week. Threads had come out,
Dog.
and I was crushing.
Dog.
And
I don't
then-
I don't like talking about Threads.
Threads was like they handed Shama $1 million and then yanked it
Oh
away.
man, so fast too. Fast.
Dude, you were a menace the first week.
Yeah,
of
it
Threads.
was. I was, man. I had so much. I was in a different time zone. I was out in Africa. Y'all were sleeping. I was just like cooking
There's nobody to tell him no.
Christian rappers and freaking Chris Tomlin on there. You've been on trips with me.
Yeah.
Where we go to like a church or a conference and you have the same conversation with like different people where you're at some point you're like, if I gotta stay Greenville, South Carolina. Oh, I love it there. I love the South. It's incredible. Yeah.
I've gotten it down. I've been on enough trips with you because you remember I would panic those first couple. They'd be like, "What are you doing?" I'd be like, I don't know.
I don't know. But there is a thing where you're like, it's almost like you're just you keep starting something. You're starting and starting.
Which I think that freelance video production work. I don't think it was for me because not knowing what you're going into every time, not knowing who you're going to meet every time, made me so anxious.
Yeah.
It was just, yeah.
And that's how you ended up standing next to freaking what's his name?
Darius Rucker.
And you didn't even know who he was.
Yeah. Dude, well, and that's
And
the
you
thing.
love country music.
I love Darius Rucker, but that's just that's how those shoots are. You show up, it's 6 a.m., you had an hour drive.
You stand next to a black guy.
You're carrying heavy things, you're working hard, and then you're standing beside Darius Rucker, and he's like, "So, how are you?" And you're like, "Hey, not right now, man."
They're gonna find out.
You ever snub Hootie? I don't know if I've ever told that story on the internet.
Yeah, I love that story. My favorite story joke is that we were talking to Chris Freeland.
It didn't occur to me that was Darius Rucker until I was driving to the second location.
Yeah.
And I got there and I got out of the car and I realized there's Darius Rucker and I walked up to him and I was like, "Did you know that was Darius Rucker?" And he just quick, dude. He just goes, "Oh, I was wondering why I kept singing Wagon Wheel."
Oh man, dude, Chris be
So
throwing freaking
funny, dude.
haymakers, man. That was so
Darius Rucker pulled up in his tour bus, doors open, smoke just billowed out.
Hey man, how G is that?
It's pretty baller.
Freaking, how's it watching somebody live your dream?
Yeah.
I don't even smoke, but
I
I'm
just
like,
want a smoke
must
machine in
be
my
nice.
tour bus. Yeah. Oh god.
That's a level of. I don't particularly want to be famous, but that's the level of fame I want. Or like Eden talking about working with T-Pain and about how he has his own personal lady that just
liquor.
just keeps his tequila bottle filled.
Yeah.
Man. I bet T-Pain, he was at a hotel I was staying at.
Really?
At a conference, yeah.
Recently?
Yeah.
Oh, never the ones I'm there for.
Oh no! This is people. It was one of those. It was such a wild. It was in freaking Jacksonville, Florida, too. It's some students.
He lives
Somebody
in
was
Tallahassee.
like, somebody really?
Yeah.
Somebody was like, "Oh, T.I.'s here," and I'm like, "T.I. staying at the Hyatt Regency Jacksonville?"
Oh wait, T.I.
And,
or T-Pain?
T.I.
Oh, never mind. He
Are we
doesn't
talking
live
about
in Tallahassee.
T-Pain?
We were talking about T-Pain, yeah.
I'm 31.
My bad.
But anyways, T.I. was there, and not T-Pain. I'm black. Also, if somebody's listening to this podcast, they're like, "Why is that guy get?" But yeah. Anyways, he was there. I did meet him, and I was like, "Can I get a picture?" And he was like, "Maybe when I'm walking away." I don't want people to come up to me right now. He was at the bar,
Kirk Franklin,
throwing
yeah.
him back. Yeah.
Hey, I want you to know. So since I didn't grow up in church and I don't know a lot of like the Christian stuff, a lot of things that I know is secondhand from you. So at work, when people talk about someone, I just tell your stories.
So what do you say? Like
So someone was like, "Yeah, I love Kirk Franklin." And I was like, "Oh,
He was
Shama
mean.
really loves Kirk Franklin." And I tell the whole story, and I go,
Yeah.
"So yeah, that happened to Shama,"
Yeah.
and I act like it's me.
That's funny. I need to be a better window into Christian culture.
Yeah.
Who were you like a big fan of as a kid?
Could do Kirk Franklin.
Kirk Franklin. Oh, so that just burns
Well,
even.
I remember-
Do you still tell that story on
I do,
stage?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you probably
I-
shouldn't burn it here.
Well,
But
it's yeah, I probably won't. But yeah. I mean, Kirk Franklin, Carmen. Like I used to love watching Carmen all the time. I guess I don't know. We didn't have a big TV film library
Yeah,
at our
sure.
house. So, what did you grow up watching? I mean, you were kind of in the same boat, homeschooled.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, really just wasn't into like much music at all until like middle high school. But it was like I grew up around like Relient K, Switchfoot era, and that wasn't even. I didn't know this until high school, and I discovered real music. But that's not even the type of music I'm
Wait, do
actually
people not
into.
like?
Well, okay. Both of them are like okay bands that have had a crossover hit or two, but it's just like not my style.
Yeah.
I guess.
It's almost like the gateway.
Yeah,
Gateway
they're a
music.
gateway band. Yeah.
gateway music. That's a really
Toby
good
Mac
term.
was big, which anything Toby Mac looking back on doesn't hold up. You know?
I wrote a joke. I do a character called a Christian radio host, and the joke is that was Toby Mac doing whatever he thinks rap is.
That's very accurate. That's very accurate.
Which is a really backhand. It's a roundabout insult.
Yeah.
I didn't insult him. He's doing what he thinks. Yeah.
Oh
Gosh.
man,
You just grew up listening to freaking Johnny Cash,
Lil
Darius
Wayne.
Rucker.
Kid
Lil Wayne,
Rock.
baby. I remember I have very scarce church stories, but I went on a church retreat thing in Pigeon Forge.
Recently?
No,
Okay.
no,
Oh,
middle school, 6th grade, 7th grade,
Yeah.
and we're in the hotel room, and they're playing Lecrae, Run DMC. And I was like, ooh, I got next. And I played a Lil Wayne song. And when I tell you, every teenage boy in that room just stopped and looked at me while the song played.
What song?
It was 6 foot, 7
course,
foot,
yeah.
8 foot.
Hey.
Excuse my charisma. Vodka with a spritzer.
Also, Lil Wayne, vulgar immediately.
Yeah. And after the song was over, we listened to the whole song in silence. And then when it was over, they said, "Yeah, we probably shouldn't play that anymore." Like, and it was like that was worse
I love
than if
how
they
everybody
were.
like that. Though. You know, they all listened to that later. They were like,
Yeah, probably.
I
later,
mean,
yeah.
why
6
why'd
foot,
they
what
let
was
the
that, 7
whole
foot?
song
What was that,
play?
8 foot what?
yeah,
What was
they
that,
let the
3
whole
foot?
because I guess they didn't want to be rude.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they didn't want to hurt my feelings, and so they just sat there.
You know, this is why Chase is integral to
Yeah.
what we do. We needed a wild card.
We
We just had too many squares.
Well, see, this is how we have our edge. You need to have a little. You need to push the line a little if you're going to be a good
and also
comedian.
the edge is y'all need to end the sketch with candy cigarettes, and we're like, ooh, ooh. yeah. But it is. I feel Christian culture. I mean, when you grow up in it, obviously you have a level of importance. Well, it is. It's important because it's what you experienced. But then trying to explain it to somebody else, I found myself being like, oh, it's not working. It doesn't work. Because
Yeah.
I can't even, what I'm trying to say to somebody who's completely unfamiliar with it, it's not working.
Yeah.
So therefore, I need to sit back
You
down.
know, the craziest thing to explain talking about Toby Mac is the whole you feel so betrayed as a Christian kid when you find out DC Talk's most famous song, Jesus Freak, is just Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's very similar guitar riff. They so they used to be a 90s hip hop group, and they sounded a lot like Tribe Called Quest or just all those people at that era.
Yeah.
But then after Nirvana gets big, they completely switch and do a grungy pop style album. Their most famous song sounds exactly like Teen Spirit, but it has Toby Mac rapping on it.
Yeah.
And so you
Interesting.
have to explain to people that the most popular song you listen to is like, imagine Smells Like Teen Spirit, but then Toby Mac comes on and is like, this dude had a tattoo on his fat belly. And
Yeah. There was a man in the desert with gnats in his head. The sand that he walked was also his bed. The words that he spoke made the people assume there wasn't too much left in the upper room.
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch. That's your 6 foot, 7 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was mine. Yeah, you passed me the aux cord. I'm playing Jesus Freak.
And they would have lost their minds.
yeah.
Those kids would have loved it.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is it is interesting. Yeah.
That was the same trip. I brought a Harry Potter book on the bus, the church bus on the way there. And the chaperone walked up and said, "Can you put that away?"
Whoa.
And I said, sure. I guess I'll watch, what's that Christian?
Bridge to Terabithia on VHS.
I really like that. But what's the football Christian movie?
Facing the
I
Giant.
guess I'll watch Facing the Giants.
for the third time.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And you wonder why I'm the way that I am.
Dude, you haven't done a Christian football sketch yet. There's
Dude, I wrote a well, I have the first two acts of a really good one.
okay.
Well, it's supposed to be.
Well, hey,
football
this
or
is a
basketball.
writing podcast. Let's knock that third out.
Oh, let's
act
do
out.
it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I
don't know
gave
if
up on
We
that.
gotta do something.
Also, I was just thinking about. I've been watching a lot of football this year.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know why. Here's my theory.
Because Taylor Swift showed up.
Yeah, really. I saw that Taylor girl. I've been working on. I had this thought last night while I was falling asleep. Is that in marriage they say you can either be happy or right. There's a third option.
Yeah.
You could be distracted. And so I've picked up grilling. That's like a 6 to 8 hour Saturday distraction. I picked up football. I just watched the highlights.
Yeah.
But then also I'm gonna pick up golf, which
gonna play
come
golf?
on, I will. But so I was thinking about that, and so I don't
think you're
since
gonna
I was
like
watching
golf.
football. Well, we'll wait and see. I'll come back and update you guys.
You ever been to like Top Golf?
I have, but I've also been on a golf course like filming.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Yeah.
You ride around in a little cart, you're hanging out with your buddies. I don't even think it's about golf.
Yeah, I suppose. But I think me and you are so similar in the way. I think the act of swinging that golf club, I don't think you're going to like it.
We should get out there. We should
Let's
get
just
out
all
there.
go.
Let's
Okay.
figure it out.
Would you be interested in golf?
Maybe all my siblings and my parents go, and I'm just never around when they do. I've never
My
done
dad takes my brother golfing. Never asked me.
Maybe because you haven't have you expressed the interest?
No, well, this is probably my fault. We've been to Top Golf twice. Both times I get so frustrated, I'm just chucking golf balls because I have 0 points.
And so he's like, all
He's
right.
like, maybe I shouldn't bring him to a public place.
So, it just in line with, I was like, wait, what if the sketch is football? So the whole sketch is it all takes place in a locker room. I don't know if I've told you about this.
Oh, okay. Just
It
ringing some
starts
bells.
in a locker room, and there's all this team rah rah. It's hazy. It's this first. They're about to go out, and they're like, guys, David defeated Goliath. Saul was Daniel wasn't scared of the lion's den. And also Jesus, he wasn't scared of that cross. Let's get out there, everybody. And then everybody marches out, freaking. They're tapping the top of the door.
Yeah.
Boom. It's then it's second quarter. Right. They're back in the locker room. Everybody's a little defeated. It's like, black screen, 32-0, and then, fade back here like Dolly, and then everybody's just kind of sitting there and they're like, what happened? They're like, I don't know. Or it's like halftime or whatever. And they're like, I don't know. And then they're like, well, I thought we prayed. And it's like that. And then but then the coach kind of pipes up and he's like, guys, we're just not a good team. And then you're like, and then somebody else kind of brings in like another Bible reference of like, not so-and-so wasn't always good, but he had the strength of the Lord and he was able to yada, yada, yada. I think we should go out there. Whoa! And everybody goes out there and Ken slaps us. And then it's like, gung, final score, 128 to like 0. And then it's just like, man, what went wrong? And then, the only line I have is like somebody just goes like, maybe next time we should fast. I don't know.
I think it'd be great if there was
the idea of like, it's it's essentially the whole sketch is anti-facing the Giants.
Yeah.
Because God moved the wind. Like, no. In this sketch, God doesn't care about football.
Okay, I've thought about this a lot because my home church had a basketball league I was not a part of. Every once in a while I got dragged to a game, but it'd always pray before, and they'd always seem defeated when they didn't win. And I was like, hey, we're in a church league. Like, the other team prayed too.
Yeah.
Good.
You got to do more than that.
Yeah.
There's something funny.
Is that a thought you had? That's a thought you had. That's so good. That is the game.
Like, when two
That's
teams
a really
are prayed, like, how is the decision made?
Yeah, who makes that decision? Who makes that call?
That's a good, like, childlike faith question.
Yeah.
Where you're like, wait a second. God answered somebody's prayers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's a fun premise to a team trying to escalate it. They're like, well, they're going to pray too, so we're going to fast. But then they're like passing out on the court because they haven't eaten. And they're like, that didn't work.
So my whole thing was like, this is just like cost cutting. But I was like, you don't show any playtime.
Right, yeah.
The
It's
whole
the locker
thing
room.
is just the locker room. Maybe somebody does point out like, guys, this is a Christian league. The other team prayed too. And then somebody was like, maybe next time we should fast.
What if there's there's two captains, and they're the ones that's supposed to hype up? It's almost like a Key and Peele sketch.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that are supposed to hype up the whole team. So that way we don't have to worry about other people.
Yeah.
And so it's like the first guy's like, we can do all things through Christ.
Whoa!
And then the other one is like trying to set expectations.
Guys,
He's like, well, maybe not all things. Yeah. And we're going to win because we prayed, but they probably prayed too.
Yeah.
And then so it just, there's the Abbott and Costello. There's the straight man and then the wild one.
Yeah. I like that.
It is kind of a solid, like, if everybody is on board and then there's just that boom, everyone's defeated. Like, that is a kind of...
So I thought, the first, everybody runs out. Everybody's like dry, whatever. Halftime, when they're back in there, everybody's sweaty. People are kind of sitting like this. Like, you just get a couple of shots, picking up, and like, oh, they're like really defeated. But then they go from like that, like, somber, to freaking beating the lockers, just to go out.
What
and
did
get
Jesus do after he died? He came back in
He
the second half.
He came back. He came back. He came back. Gong. I like that. Yeah.
You just hear an announcer, and it's like the Davidtown Davids just lost 47-3.
Wait, so maybe the structure of the sketch is like you do that over and over. They're defeated, but then someone brings them back up again. Someone brings them back up again, and then the end would be they have lost for sure. And then that's when we don't reveal this before. We reveal at the end. This is a church league.
They prayed.
The other team prayed too.
And maybe that's the last one.
That's a solid
so
joke
good.
to end on.
So I was just for rule. I thought it was like the one big rah-rah
Yeah.
halftime another big rah-rah.
Yeah.
Defeat.
A defeat, and then like somebody tries to kick off the rah-rah, and then they're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Well, hey,
freaking,
man, it's a Christian league.
it's a crystal league.
They pray too.
Man, are we gonna print? We got to print this on the episode just so people can see the process. But that is such a good line.
Yeah.
Man. That is so good.
And this is essentially, because I mean, we talk a lot about writing shorts and stuff and features, but this is essentially how we write all the sketches.
Yeah, yeah.
It's usually just Shama or PD or Robert. Someone has an idea, and so they put it into a note, and then we just keep pitching things to make each other laugh.
I think normally like I think the first thing is just like if the first act is strong enough.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like, all right, we'll
Yeah.
figure out the rest.
Yeah.
You know, because I was talking to you about something because we want to shoot more Hallmark shorts this Christmas, and we were like, hey, we just have like a bunch of starts that we're like, we'll get
figure
somewhere.
it
You know,
out,
we'll get
yeah.
Well,
somewhere.
that's the big difference between sketches, and we've been talking about this a lot because sometimes when we put out a comedy short and someone doesn't like it, they will call it a sketch, and nothing like pisses me off more than
Yeah.
because you work really hard on something just for someone to be we
Right.
don't I don't really like sketches like that or something.
Yeah, you're like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
But yeah, like a sketch, it just has to be funny.
Right.
You can just have relentless joke. It helps if there's escalation and everything, but like keeping people laugh is the main.
And that's
thing.
and you can tell, like because we were doing this, you know, filming something tonight, and we're like, oh, well, we should end it this way, and we pitched like 15 lines.
Yeah.
But then we got to the line that was like the funniest.
And we were like, okay, yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's it.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Because there is, if it's a math problem, it's got an answer. You know,
It's a feeling.
Yeah.
It feels right.
the formula or whatever.
The thing about sketches and sketch comedy can be really difficult. And I think the reason that you're so successful at it is because it's coming up with good premises. That's
Yeah.
the hardest part. We can sit here and improv good jokes all day, but coming up with the initial premise is really difficult.
Because that's where
to
you
do.
gotta put it somewhere. And part of the premise, just because we've been like, you know, haven't been able to like fund locations and crew, like the Hallmark thing that we did last year.
Yeah.
It was just like, hey man, I spent days decorating this huge tree in my front yard, and our house has got lights on it.
Yeah.
Like we have to shoot something in my front yard.
Yeah.
And we did. So it was just based on like, oh, whatever. And it turned out really cool just because we were like, all right, something Hallmarky. We've got a location. Let's figure out the rest.
And then we sat at airport PF Chang's
That was
and wrote
for
it.
part 2. Yeah, but for the first one, we just kind of did it.
That's true. That was the three of us.
Yeah, the three of us, we just kind
Yeah.
of went in on a dock, and so
I'm really
yeah.
proud of those.
And it's cool. Like I think the what is it? Invention. What is the mother of necessity?
Huh?
You know that quote?
Oh yeah, what is that quote? I don't know.
Invention, creativity. No,
Something like that.
I
I don't know. Do you have a favorite sketch you've
The
done?
horse's name was Friday.
Favorite sketch? I mean, we just talked like the Hallmark sketch.
Yeah.
Like
That's
top,
yeah.
just
yeah.
line to line.
The second one is my favorite.
I mean,
Top
what
tier.
what makes something stand out to you? Is it like a density of jokes, or is it a premise that you like a lot? Or
Well, just the flow, I guess. Like, yeah, just the flow of it is the intro is solid. It's silly immediately. Every line that hits afterwards is like funny,
Yeah.
funnier, and then like funny, a little funny, funnier, and then like the last line is like the funniest, and then we're out of there.
I think it's just like it is the culmination of everything that we've done,
Yeah,
and it's like when I watch that one, especially the second one, I'm like, oh, this is our 30 Rock.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
we've been doing this a ton, and then me particularly because I joined. You know, you guys have been doing this way longer.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, like from start to finish, this is really good.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah.
hits every beat.
Because we've done stuff where where we are aware of the strong part and then the so-so
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah.
You know, so we kind of compromise on that. But yeah, I think that was like, we just bit off the right amount of what we could chew. And then everybody just kind of brought like, I don't know, like just this incredible A game. And it was outside of the Christian space.
That felt
So it was like this, hey, let's just try something. I own a bar. In this, you know what I mean? So we just tried like a bunch of crazy stuff. And I think maybe just like the freshness of it.
It is nice to just do something just to be funny.
Yeah.
Whereas like you can fall into the temptation of when you have a niche, you know what they're going to want.
Yeah.
And you know where to go for the cheap joke.
And that's the thing where it's like you really, and I mean, writing where PD and Chase and I've been like writing together a ton, and we're like, all right, okay, these are the jokes that we can't make.
It took me a long time to figure those out.
Because they're too, you know, I mean, it's written by somebody who listened to too much 6'7". And then also these are the jokes that we can't make because
they're too easy.
They're too easy.
The other people in the space, you do that.
Yeah, the other people who grew up on like freaking VeggieTales and McGee and Me. And then, all right, what are the other jokes then? Yeah. And so then we're like, you know, like, all right, let's tear up the premise, you know, from the ground up and kind of go from there. And I think we were able to, like, you know, really uncover some really solid sketches in the Christian space, you know.
Well, and that goes back to the thing about premises. And I think the reason that you're so good at it is because it's gotten to the point where you're like, you've put out so many. I don't know how many, but at this point it's
a ton, man.
A ton. You're like, okay. Like for recently you've been doing this, the Christian DJ.
Yeah, Christian radio host.
And it's like, okay, what's a character I haven't done in the Christian space? And you're like, okay, what are predominant people in the Christian space? You have this, you have a pastor, you have a youth pastor, you have a Christian DJ. Boom. And then you can write jokes for that.
Yeah.
But the premise itself is, I think, the hardest part.
Yeah. That's, I mean, yeah. Because I guess it really is like not that there is like a hierarchy, but we do shoot down premises. You know, like I've pitched you stuff and you're like, well, I don't know. And then, but the moment, you know, it works for somebody else, it's kind of like, oh, okay, like we're off to the races.
Right.
You know? And so I think that is like, still at it. Like I'm still trying to be like, okay, what is the great setup? Like let's get, and we're just talking about like more Hallmark stuff, and like I need like we're throwing a football at each other, but we're talking and something needs to happen. You know what I mean? And like solving that, I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, it's the fun part of it. I had something. You got something, Robert? I'm trying to remember what I was going to say.
I mean, do you still feel like you're finding new and interesting premises, like new and interesting ways to look at the Christian space? Like, does it, because sometimes like creating stuff, I feel like we've exhausted everything, but then I'll think of, we never looked at it from this angle. Yeah. Or even like I don't do all the vertical sketches, but in my own writing, I've been doing a lot of horror and a lot of I've been playing with religious themes, and it's opened this whole new world where it's like, oh, I never thought of church from like this perspective or that perspective before.
I mean, I'm pretty, between PD and I, like PD and I's like church experiences and then like articles or stuff that we read. And then Chase's kind of input on that. I think there's like a really good balance of like, all right, let's you know, of freshness, stuff that I'm still excited about. Yeah. And so that's been pretty good. I think it's been good. Like it's been good. There hasn't been something where I'm like, oh, I gotta freaking do another one of these. Yeah. Like I love the loose cannon guest speaker, and we really loved writing those, and everybody kind of, you know. But there's reached a point where we're like, man, we can't even top.
Well, it's like at this point we're gonna actually say something messed up.
That's the only way to escalate. Yeah,
right. And which
Part
is like
14 is gonna end with.
Those are the ones I pitch.
Yeah.
You know? So
those sketches are funny because every once in a while you get someone that doesn't realize it's a joke.
Right.
It's like this guy's actually spitting, and it's like,
when we did that Bro v. Wade podcast sketch. To this day, I'll get notifications of the comments being like, hey, when is this? I can't find it.
And you're like, what are you talking about?
You want to hear about that?
You want to hear two dudes by Bro v. Wade?
Or that when Christianity is illegal sketch. Yeah. A lot of people are like,
This is how it is. This is how it is right now.
That's so funny, dude. Chase is called some of the sketches like, well, Christianity is illegal. It's such a stupid premise. It's probably such a stupid but it worked. It's one of those. And I remember we shot a version of it that didn't work, and Chase was like, I just want to let you guys know this is gonna blow up. And we were like, I mean, maybe, if we're lucky. And then it was immediately, it was people were like, oh, what's coming? The end times. And we were like, oh, we didn't know. Did you know it was going to blow up in that way?
People love being a victim.
Oh, yeah.
And so if they feel like they're being crucified,
there's just a larger conversation about satire. And I feel like I've experienced a lot working with you where if some people, they expect, if they do political satire or stuff, they expect to make a difference in the world, and they don't realize that if you expect it to be any more than a funny joke, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Because also you don't get to choose who watches your stuff. A lot of people assume that the fan base that is drawn to you have a lot of say over that, but sometimes a lot of people don't, and they end up with fan bases they absolutely hate that misinterpret everything they say.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about doing satire is you have to be okay with being seen the way that you're presenting, because a lot of people don't get it.
Yeah.
I would have that problem a lot in school, when I was in college, because my sense of humor is just very satirical. And so I at intramural basketball games, I'd be on the sideline screaming about how I'm going to dunk on you when I get in the game. And then I'm wearing flip-flops and khakis. And then I thought everyone was in on the joke. And I was like, oh, yeah.
Dunk on him?
Yeah, but then I remember one time this one guy goes, hey, Chase, are you going to keep talking or are you going to get in the game? And I'm wearing flip-flops and khaki pants. And I was like, just going to keep talking. I thought we all knew I was joking.
Yeah.
But no, people really hated me because I would scream on the sideline.
There's no way to guarantee that your thing reaches an audience that understands it.
Yeah. Also, the message, I think there's a saying, the medium is the message.
Yeah.
And God, guys, we're on social media. We make stuff for social media. Yeah. And so I remember when we did, probably one of my favorite, I would say collaborative projects that we've done, song wise, music wise, sketch wise, it's definitely gonna be Hallmark, but music wise is the worship song.
Yeah.
Got in a studio, recorded the song, filmed the video all in a day. And I remember when it came out, people got it. The people who got it really got it. And then I remember getting a message from somebody who was like, you need to make another video explaining what true worship is.
Yeah.
And I remember being like,
huh? What's funny about
we
that?
We just spent hours and hours explaining what worship isn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey,
you can take the host of water, but you can't make them drink.
That's what I'm saying. So it's we're not here. The satire is here to educate.
Yeah.
But only if you're there to. It's not made to educate. It will educate. But if you're going there to learn, it won't. You know what I mean?
It misunderstands the purpose of art in general, or it's to make a statement.
Right.
It's not.
Then people be like, oh, it's really harsh, and you're like.
And the moment you have to explain it, it's not art
it
anymore.
falls apart because then it's kind of
it's making fun of people by being them.
Right.
And so if they don't get it, they just think you're like them, and that you're reaffirming their thoughts.
Right.
Yeah. And if you're trying to do satire to really change the world, that's the wrong reason to do it. It's the least effective way. Become an activist or something. But if you're going to do it to be funny,
and I will say that is the one thing, having collaborated with a lot of different people, working with you guys and Andrew and PD and some of the other guys, we just really love making stuff.
Yeah.
And that is before the premise, before anything else, we just want to make really good stuff.
Right. Even if no one watched it, we would still.
And that's what they're still stand behind.
No one watches this. We do it every week.
This is a great episode. I'm having a blast.
Yeah.
But I think that is if you go into it with any other, we're gonna make so much money, or oh, I'm gonna change the culture,
People-
or oh, we're gonna. Then you already you're
thinking too far ahead.
you don't even know you don't even know you're trying to solve you're providing a solution to a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You know, obviously a problem exists, but you're trying to provide a solution that nobody's really going to you for.
Right. And also, I think something that people like, I think like real like comedians, but like if you don't have something to say, then don't say anything. And it's like, nah, I don't have anything to say, and that's how you end up with ridiculous stuff.
Man.
You know what I mean? You don't have to have anything
about
to
comedy
say.
special that you watch. I remember like watching Kevin Hart's first comedy special. Me and like freaking crying, laughing in my apartment so loud at 2 a.m. I don't mean, what did he have to say? This was like
Nothing. You know what he had to say?
Social
Explicitives.
justice. Just jokes. You know?
Yeah, you don't. Everything doesn't have to be. Because for a long time, I was like, because it feels like people make you feel like if you are in like the creative field, you have to have like this a reason behind it. So it's like, why do you want to be an actor? Well, I want to be an actor because I want to help people bring blah 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 blah. I just like doing it.
Yeah.
I don't think I need a deeper emotion.
Right.
Then it's just like, hey, it's fun to hang out with my friends. And when you're an adult, you can't really just like hang out with people. You kind of have to have a reason.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't see Robert every day if we didn't work together and do written by together. You know what I mean?
that same thing with PD. Like we go back and forth on like church stories, but yeah, the act of getting together and developing a thing and producing a thing and just actively creating.
Yeah.
I mean, bettered the relationship, bettered us as like writers, as producers, and so yeah, we just speak this language of like of that would have never came about if we didn't like I don't know
Spend a lot of time in
yeah
a room.
like I would say like nurture it,
Yeah.
like, you know, fertilize it, water it, you know, like so much of this process is like, is this right of, oh, I've had an idea for a long time, oh, I'm doing this, I'm telling you about an idea, you drop a line I needed to hear like 4 years ago. You know, and I'm like, oh great, now I'm like, you know, really motivated to like, you know, kind of, you know, continue it on. So yeah, it's just I don't think there's like I think a lot of people go, we're creating a writer's room to collaborate, and you're like, that's not really it either. That's part of it.
Yeah.
But more than anything is like, you know,
You
being on the
gotta
same
just-
page and understanding and liking stuff, liking
The same
thing.
stuff. Yeah. And that's another thing too, is really hard. Like the first probably the year or two when I kind of hopped on, I don't think anything I did was very good. Everybody was very nice to me when I would pitch an idea, and everybody would be like, Chase, that's not really what we do. And it just took a long time to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess. But I don't know if like Robert and I think we just had a lot of conversations about what we were doing and what needs to happen and then what shouldn't happen. And we didn't put that in writing. So I think by the time you came along,
we have
we
similar
were like,
taste.
all right, well, Robert, you know, if you said something, I'd be like, yeah, Robert's not going to go for that. And so I'm not shooting you down. I'm shooting down what I already know
Isn't going to work.
Isn't going to work.
Right.
based on,
And that's the thing.
you know?
It takes a lot of time.
Right.
And plus I was 19, 20. And you guys, you're like 5, 6, 7 years older than me. 10, 12 years old, 13.
You can't stop at it.
My birthday was like
2 days
2 days ago.
Oh,
yeah.
man, shoot. Happy belated birthday.
I mean,
Did I text
hate,
you a
hate
bunch
my
of
birthday.
notes on your birthday? No, I texted you today. Was that
Oh,
your day
yeah,
yesterday?
yeah,
I was about to
that's
say.
right.
One thing about
I
Shama, don't expect a happy birthday from Shama. Don't expect a happy birthday from Shama.
Hey, only if I see you in person.
I think in the first year of knowing you, you told me that one day. You were like, "Yeah, I don't tell people happy birthday."
I mean, honestly, I don't either. Like,
You don't either?
I don't like my birthday. Like, I think 23 was the last time, and then I was like, it's sad now. I'm just getting older. Closer
Everyone
to
at
death.
work sang happy birthday to Robert the other day.
It was so awkward because it was clear most of them didn't want to, and it was clear I didn't want to hear it, but one person was leading them in it, so we're all kind of obligated to go through the charade.
It was so awkward that I was just standing near him and I slid over.
Yikes! You're like, I don't even want to be. I don't want to catch
Who decided
a
that
second-hand
that's how
happy
we celebrate?
birthday.
Yeah,
There's
right.
no other holiday where you well, I guess Christmas carols, but that's a group
People
activity.
don't do that no more.
No, do that.
There's no other activity.
If somebody
where you
opens, if I
serenade
open
one
up my
single
front door
person.
and people are serenading me, I'm closing the door. That's grand opening, grand closing. It's Chris Rock.
Telling people happy birthday is a weird thing. Because, yeah, you
Wait,
don't.
when is your birthday?
August 21st.
Yeah, I did miss it.
You did?
Did I miss it?
Yeah, for 4 years now.
Oh, my bad, man.
Don't feel bad. I'm also a grown man.
Oh.
So it's also like, Shama didn't wish me a happy birthday.
Well-
I mean, I was with Robert at 9:30 in the morning on my birthday. And Robert said, "What's up?"
Oh, man.
But
Oh,
also-
you wanted my liege.
But also,
You wanted
hey,
me to sing. That's what
I mean, it would have been nice.
Sad.
But listen,
This is a grown man singing to a young man.
but also, and not to brag, your birthday was 2 days ago. I saw you at 9:30 in the morning. What did I say?
What'd you hit him with?
I said, "Hey, happy birthday, Robert." And I want you to know I looked at you a long time.
Wait, really?
And I was just like, no, I'm just joking around.
Damn.
But I'm just a better
Okay, you
person.
said August 21st. Okay, we hung out though. Like, did we go to Raleigh?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
No, I'm joking.
What?
I'm just doing a bit.
Okay, well,
See, this is another thing about satire is like, and I think
no, I feel now that you're saying that, I do feel bad.
Well,
But
why?
also, I feel just because I'm like, I need to be doling out these happy birthdays.
but also it's like I think it would be
We
a
only
thing.
get like what? Yeah, I mean, if you're white, like 80. If you're Tanzanian, like 62. So I only got
that's one of my
like
favorite
31 more birthdays left. I need them.
You need to work that in your stand up. Shama, me and Elizabeth were at dinner with Shama Gray's house, and he was talking about how Tanzanians don't have a long lifespan. And I was like, so how does that work if you grew up in the United States? Like, do you get a few extra years, or is it
I
like?
was like, I don't know, man. But the life expectancy is 65,
Man.
and I'm 31. So,
Hey, halfway there.
So has this felt like your midlife crisis year?
oh man, yeah, I
You've been
guess.
kind of
Or do
balling
you,
this
do you
year,
think
though.
it can get worse?
So
is
you
what I'm
said
asking.
earlier today. You said that you're trying to accomplish something before you turn 30.
I know what he's trying to accomplish.
And so
Well, I decided this when I was 24, and I didn't realize I'd still be trying to do it
Yeah.
at 29.
So I'm like, am I gonna give myself more checkpoints? That's my thought process. I'm like, oh, I need to and I'm like, I don't. At this point, I'm like,
I don't know, man.
if I don't, I hopefully I will. I just have this mentality of like, I think we'll make a movie. We'll make a movie. I
You've
know
been
we'll make a
balling this year.
movie. Yeah, it's been fun.
You've
man.
got you have a tour date.
Yeah, man.
You have a show coming out.
Yeah, we have 3 dates on the calendar, but hopefully more. Yeah, the Smoking Hot Life tour. Me and Jaron.
Just go to
really
his
excited
Instagram.
about that. You'll
Everyone
see
here follows
You'll
you.
see
Yeah,
But
go check it out.
That's been fun. I mean, it's still like we needed to like we don't got like a bus or anything. We also
you got
needed
merch.
We got merch.
I've
We
been
needed to
seeing that.
sell. Oh, you have?
I've been
dude?
seeing it on socials.
Merch looks
yeah.
good, dude.
It does look
Merch
cool.
looks really good. We hired this guy. We probably need to use him too. The guy is Dustin Cooper. He's awesome. But yeah, I mean, I don't
been
know.
balling.
I don't know.
You're
You're trying to accomplish a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you dissuaded?
no,
by
I have
time?
attitude. I
Hey,
feel
Robert's
like
been balling too this year.
I get the sense that everything I want to accomplish is going to happen, but I hate waiting, and I feel like the older I get, just the more impatient I get.
Yeah.
People tell me I'm patient all the time as if it's a good thing, and I'm starting to question that it's like when I worked at Starbucks.
Robert's on Tinder, and some girls like. I mean, you're very patient.
Okay. What changed my mind about all this, when I worked at Starbucks, I hated this job, and there were a lot of customers that were really rude to me. There was this guy that's a super North Greenville Southern Baptist Christian guy, just reading his Reformation Bible or whatever they do.
Not
But
in Starbucks.
he comes up to me late night. He's like, Robert, I think God gave you the gift of patience. And I remember hearing that. It's like, oh, God gave me the gift to be walked all over by these middle-aged white women at Starbucks.
He said, God gave you the gift of patience. I wish he'd take it back.
Yeah.
He could have given me the gift of money.
Also, that's a
I mean, to bring it all back, just like, I feel like everything's going to happen, but I'm trying to set checkpoints just so I'm like assertive about,
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to happen, but like, I'm going to make it happen
Yeah.
when I want to make it happen.
yeah.
I mean, I think, because, I mean, you're about to turn 30, 35, 40, 45.
In 363
you're directors traditionally, they don't really get going until 30s.
until they're mid 30s.
Yeah, so
now is the time.
I think you're
something-
on track.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it is also that, okay, so much of what we're wanting to do, have done, are doing, kind of jumbled all that. But it is relying on people.
Yeah.
Right?
Hey,
We're
people, unreliable.
unreliable, fickle as heck. And so we make we shoot a thing in my front yard.
Yeah. Wayne Brady.
We put it out. We're like, oh, freaking people see it. Then Wayne Brady,
and that
ultimate
that feels
funny
amazing.
people, sees it. And so it is this thing of like, and that's one thing I've been focused on this year of like, all right, let me do what I'm in control of, which is like, I'll write really funny. I want to, edit the best that I can. I want to collaborate with good people. And so I'm like, that's like the only thing you're really in control of. Everything else is just like, I mean, you were telling me, both do a story about a director who got crazy studio opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the only way I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah. I don't think we can tell that story.
No,
but it's
no.
the crazy.
It's
But
so
it is
crazy
insane.
when it gets told. You all will probably hear it.
Yeah.
It's-
But it is just one of those things that, it's, I think our part and God's part, but
that
our part
patience.
and then like, I'll just put all the above. Those are, it's just two different things,
You just got to work hard and then get lucky.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
But-
luck is the result of hard work. so.
The thing about luck is like, we talk about this a lot, where it's like, Shama at 23 and Chase at 23 were very different stages, because Chase at 23 had a Shama and Robert at the peak of their game helping.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you have those opportunities when you're younger, it's a little bit easier to get places faster.
Right.
Because you have people that have been
It's like
doing the hard
we
work.
can't let you make sketches that we did when you were your age.
Right. Yeah,
Because we're like, oh no, we gotta,
yeah.
And so that I think that is really cool. So in some, maybe we're the elders and our young protege,
Exactly. Yeah.
Chase, he'll carry the legacy.
Yeah.
Well, and
VeggieTales
this pains me-
Remix 2.
This pains me to say, you're not that much older than me.
But I guess it is. I mean, it is really cool. I think when you say, okay, 23-year-old me and 31 now, it is like, oh wow, cool. I first uploaded something to YouTube like in 2011 or 12. So in a way, it's like, whoa, yeah. I met you in like 2015.
Yeah. Something like
16?
that. Yeah.
And I did your student film, and so there is a thing of like, it has added up, like the years of friendship and collaboration and developing and like riffing.
We've all been editing this project, and it's like you two are like some of like the best editors I've ever seen. And so when you have people that operate at such that high of a level, it's easier to learn.
Yeah.
That being said, Robert showed up with his edit.
Dog.
And,
let me say something.
Chase
me say
isn't
something.
editing anymore.
I don't even call myself an editor no more.
I watched Robert's edit and I was like, oh,
That's like, whoa,
Oh.
that's what I was supposed to do.
oh, is it too late to take mine back?
Yeah.
I feel like it's what you both can do. I just having
We
to
apply
edit
ourselves.
short films. I've learned that you could have personality and be funny with an edit, and I feel like you both have a lot of that you
We got
could
jokes.
apply with the cuts. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's just I think it's important to look at how far you two have gone.
Dude,
I got monetized on YouTube today. That's
Man,
a
that's
big
incredible,
deal for me.
man. Because that's something I remember you had talked about that like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And so like, we're in the future now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I remember, when Robert and I first worked together, we were like, and we, Chick-fil-A went viral. Chick-fil-A but a Sunday went viral. And we're like, whoa, let's try to do that again.
Yeah.
And we've done that again.
a lot.
A lot. And so then it's kind of like, oh, whoa. Now we're in this like a future of like, oh, we already did what we kind of set out to do more times than than we would have ever anticipated. So, dude, I remember when I was like 15 or something, and I lived in Tanzania and my family did mission work, and I had a camera and I would like produce, direct, and edit music videos and sketches and stuff. And I remember I was like so proud of like where I was, and I was like the director, and I'd put, and I'd be like, I'm doing all this, and the videos would do okay, because we went to church with a Christian rapper, and so I produced some music videos for him, and they ended up getting played on like TV. For the whole country. And so I remember talking to my dad about it. We're like, yeah, really, not bragging, but I just remember he could kind of sense that I felt
very proud.
feeling myself. And my dad just went, you feel like that because you're the smartest person that you work with. Like, you're the smartest person in the room. You need to work with people who are smarter than you. And I remember being 15 and being a little insulted at the time. Yeah. Because kind of being like, what's wrong with being the smartest person in the room?
That's some of the best advice.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm the dumbest person in every way.
So you don't have this problem.
I don't have that problem.
But there was this, but I and it was the thing where I remember thinking like, I don't want to be the smart. I don't want to work with people smarter than me, right? Because I'm like, I'm smart. I'm the smartest. Yeah. And so
it's a big
from there, like working, and then the Chick-fil-A but Sunday is like you, me, Andrew Simmons, Brian French, and all guys who are phenomenally and way smarter than me in directing, director of photography, cinematography and music ever. And that was like, just skyrocketed. And I was like, oh. And so that was when I really got like, oh, this is what happens when you work with people who are
just smart, like
just
the smartest people,
better than you in areas that you will probably never be.
But it is a big like punch to your ego, because it's like you have to admit like, oh wow, I'm probably the worst person in this room, and they know it.
Well, as long as you, I don't know, you want to talk, but talk to that. Well, like I think I've made my peace to where like you guys both consume way more movies than I will ever. And so if we're in a conversation about feature film structure and writing, I have to rely on you guys, because just based on like my knowledge of like film is not where you got like where y'all are. And so I recognize that, and I'm, I can kind of go, okay, take it from here.
Just
Same with like
go.
Andrew listens to like, he tells
Music.
me he's like, he listens to like the freaking Spotify top 100, every
Friday.
top 100 playlist on Friday. And I'm like, I heard that and I was like, well, I'm never going to do that. So you got it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Thank you. So same thing with like Robert, like you read scripts. And so I've kind of gleaned stuff from you, like all the conversations and podcasts that you watch and listen to in regards to directing. I'm like, hey man, I have no interest in that. I appreciate it, but that's not a journey that I'm going to embark on,
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Thank you for doing
stuff too. Yeah. I feel like I've learned social media editing through you.
Yeah.
Watching you work on reels and stuff.
That's been fun.
There's a lot of stuff I would have done completely different, and like experimenting with reels on my own occasionally.
Yeah, I'm in love.
It's like, what would Shama do?
Yo, Robert dropped the funniest video I've ever seen in my entire life. Did you watch it where he's dressed as a gnome?
Today?
No, this was like a few days ago. He's
I
dressed as a
missed it.
gnome with a paper hat, and he's just vibing. And there's no cuts, there's no camera work, and he's just vibing.
It's,
and every time it pops up, I die laughing. It's the funniest
Oh,
video
shit, I
I've
need to
ever
watch
seen.
it.
So it's not technically a gnome. It's a character in Over the Garden Wall. His character's dressed in a Halloween costume, and it's a remix of a song. Yeah, we should probably wrap this up. But
How long have we been going?
a while.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. Hold on, we're gonna watch this video real quick.
People are doing this all the time in
It's
2020.
fog. You know what that
like-
means.
And this is the whole video. It is so long. That's what kills
Oh,
me,
I
dude.
uploaded it wrong too. There's like red for 20 seconds after the video.
That's what kills me. Oh my god. Because it's just Robert vibing for so long.
Man,
for
see,
so long.
That's where like I've been since 2020. Yeah, when I started like making short form stuff just for social media, dog. That hit a cocaine doesn't compare. A hit of cocaine doesn't compare to shooting, editing, and uploading something in the same day.
Yeah.
Like that is just like, whoa. I've speed ran through what, you know, that to me is like really fun. And I still appreciate like long form projects, like the one we're, you know, working on. All the ones that we're working on.
Yeah.
But then also that I'm like, I think it's so cool that like I see something like that and I'm like,
It's so
man,
funny,
that's
man.
so fun, man. Because that's kind of why we all got into it, right? Like you picked up a
pretty
camera when you
much,
were a
yeah.
kid, just to like,
Yeah.
I want to make something. You used to plug it into the TV
Yeah.
and play it back. I'm like, let's just keep doing that, except for, you know, people.
Yeah.
Hopefully hundreds of thousands of people to watch.
I feel like we're all kind of in agreement that like no matter how big of projects we do, we want to maintain the ability to just throw something out like that.
Yeah.
There was a director that was talking about like you have to, the only way to stay happy in a creative career, because there are so many ups and downs, you just have to have the mentality that you just want to give a gift to the world, whether it's laughter or whatever, and it doesn't matter if they receive it or if it goes or anything, just out of a spirit of generosity. And so
Yeah.
if you just think of a funny joke, and it's like at least one person will like this, just like put it out there.
Right. Man, but then, I mean, saw a video. Occasionally, you run into a video online where somebody thought of a funny joke and like it's got 120 million views, and you're like, whoa, wow.
And it's just a guy rapping "It Wasn't Me" as Shaq. And you're just like, man. And she got me on the counter.
And
It wasn't me.
And you're thinking, it wasn't me, because I didn't tell that
it wasn't
joke.
Chase.
It could have been me.
But it wasn't me.
That should have been me. Rascal Flatts.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great episode.
Thanks so much for coming
doing
out.
this,
Hey,
man.
heck yeah, man.
This has been fun.
This has been a ton of fun. It's late.
It is,
it's
yeah.
late.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really late.
Someone's, yeah.
Oh.
Hey,
Oh. Oh.
That's like I'm in trouble with my wife.
Oh. No, she's asleep. Thanks for listening. This was a long episode.
Yeah, but
It was worth it.
yeah, man, we as much as we just kind of talked about things that are interesting to us, that really is how those writing sessions for Shama actually go.
Yeah, and we ended up with a sketch that, I mean, we could shoot today. Like, it's all
Exactly.
ready to go.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing is like we really wanted this show to actually like show the real process of what it's like working out ideas.
Yeah.
But still sometimes with the show it's like we still need to be an entertaining podcast.
Right.
But in this one we really just let go of all of that. And like that's how this writing session is, like that's how you find the in for what the thing is you just talk about random things that have interested you throughout the week, and then eventually
And then
something in there leads to a
It gives
a
someone
sketch.
an idea, and then you're off to the races. Yeah. Hey, this was a really fun episode. We want to give a big thanks to Shama. You can follow him. All the links are in the description, unless I forgot to put them there.
Yeah. When we shot that episode, it was really late at night after we shot the bear, but it's a church kitchen.
Yes.
That's the sketch we were filming that day. That sketch is out now. You can watch that. That was a lot of
You can
fun.
find it on my Instagram or Shama's.
Yeah.
So you go to mine.
Yeah. Go to Chase's
You
Instagram.
can go to mine and do it. Yeah. Since this was such a long episode, I think we're just gonna wrap up the outro
Yeah,
pretty
let's just
soon.
get
So
out.
hey,
Yeah.
make sure you follow us on all of our social medias at Written by Pod. You can email us writtenbypodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, be sending in. Again, we are about to record like our last rival pitch episode before we're really wrapped for the season. So if you guys have one more rival pitch suggestion, email that to writtenbypodcast@gmail.com. We might do it.
Yeah, and just a reminder, we're wrapping up our recording for the year.
That's right, yeah.
Episodes go all the way through the end of the year, and then we'll take a hiatus a little bit at the start of 2024, and then we'll come back hot. We usually come back around what, April,
March-ish.
March,
Yeah.
March, April. Yeah, it depends on what we got going on.
that's
But yeah, so see you guys next week.
See it.